Well, we are just fucking up technologically everywhere right now. Welcome to Divots and Pivots, episode 19.
It's a little understandable, Andrew. Keep going.
I don't know what the fuck just happened, honestly. It's just all over the damn place.
Is your brain preoccupied?
My brain is preoccupied. I'm coming into the show pretty pissed off tonight, so my brain is preoccupied. But regardless, still due to the normal pleasantries of Bud Copeland. Welcome to the show, as always, my fantastic co-host. How are you doing this evening, Bud?
We're gonna put. I mean, I think in a minute we'll find out. All things considered, yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to do any. Yeah, it's tough, man. I think everybody knows why it's tough. But I will say this: we're gonna pivot early, and not for the whole time, but we're going to pivot early because we need to. And then I also want to remind everybody why we're going to pivot back. And it's because sport in general was created as an escape. It was created as a means of celebration and camaraderie and coming together and unity. And, you know, you think back to throughout history in the moments in time where sport has helped us. And it's almost always there. And so in this instance, that's what we'll be trying to focus on here. But as fathers, as parents, as, like you said, humans, it's been a pretty rough go of it there the last day or so. So I know that kind of coming into this, it was like, all right, it's hard to say like colonial. Actually, no, it's not hard. It's the fun. I mean, I can't wait to get into that.
Yes.
But I think really what I'm trying to get across is there's some
things
other
bigger than sports sometimes. Sports plays its role in society, but there are things bigger than sports.
Such as
you brought up a good point. Were you around? I know you came up to Massachusetts from Florida. When did you move up here, though? Were you around for when the Boston bombing happened in Boston?
No. So I was in Maine. I had just moved to Maine in 2013. And so then I moved down to Boston and worked at 501 Boylston, so right next to the Lenox Hotel. And I started working there in 2015. And I remember everybody was talking about it still because the folks I was working with, they were all in the offices when it all went down. Like the Boston Public Library still wasn't fully fixed when I started working there. So
I was working in the city at the time with that whole manhunt and the night of that manhunt. So the night that the older brother, and I am forgetting his name right now, but the night that he shot the MIT police
there's a reason for that. He doesn't deserve to be remembered.
He doesn't deserve to be remembered, exactly. But the night that he shot the MIT police officer and that manhunt begun, that night I was going into work for the night shift at a hotel a block away from where he shot the MIT police officer. So like I was embedded in that for sure. And that was it. But what I wanted to touch on there was that you said sports has a role to play in healing and to play in getting through as an escape. And that's what, as people who were local to Boston at that time, Poppy summed it up. I'm gonna say he summed it up perfectly. This is our fucking city. And that's what you get when you come to Boston and you fuck with us, is our fucking city. And all I can say is to the families of the poor families of the children in Texas who have to deal with what they are going through right now. Now, from what I've heard lately, up to 18 families of children lost in that elementary school shooting. That is your fucking city. That is your fucking family. Fuck him. I don't care about the media, the news, calling him a man because he is an 18-year-old person. Age doesn't matter at that point. He is a cowardice little fucking boy who is pathetic, who needs to be shamed. He does not deserve the notoriety that he wanted out of all this. He goes and kills his grandmother. He goes and shoots up a school. Fuck him. I'm sorry for my language, everybody, but fuck him. This is society. It is unfucking acceptable to be still dealing with this shit in this country after everything we've gone through over the last, 10 years of school shootings, of grocery store shootings. Get with the fucking program. Get your shit together. Act. See the signs. These people are not hiding. They are fucking lunatics.
You kind of nailed it right there. My sister, and she loves that I'm going to drag her into a school shooting topic, but no, she
does.
She's a school administrator. So, I mean, her and I have actually been talking about this today quite a bit. Her The reason I was bringing her into it is because she says something to me all the time. Anytime I start to look outward, anytime I start to get critical, anytime she
Sure.
said, and by the way, this Bud's for you, Bud Copeland. That's my my stage name. My given name is Michael. And so sometimes she'll say,
I did
Michael,
not know that. How have you
Michael
not shared that with me up until this point?
Michael Jeffrey Copeland. We'll get into Bud. It's
you know what? I don't want to take away from the topic we're talking about. We'll get to that.
So
later.
she'll say to me this. She'll say, Michael, get your house in order first. And I'll kind of freeze, and she'll say, just before you do anything, start at home and start working out from there. And the point I'm trying to make is there's there's always hand wringing, there's always pink finger pointing, because everybody processes grief differently. It doesn't excuse some of the nonsense that's going to be said or done, but at the same time, you have to have a little bit of empathy and curiosity of how others are going through this.
Yes.
And in doing so, it's almost like you said, this is your city, folks. And so somewhere along the way, and let the news come out, let the facts come out, let the dust settle.
Look, they have a job to do. They have information to get out. I get it.
But once it all does, we're going to find out that along the way, there's some people who nobody's responsible but the shooter, right? That's
yes.
It. And by the way, I'm with you. We don't say here on the Divots and Pivots show, we do not say the names of the shooters. We refer to them either as shooter or a piece of shit.
Or criminal. Look, you go after kids. You are not doing nothing but looking for notoriety, and I am not going to give you.
Dude, there's a special place.
Look,
special place in hell.
Even people who are part of groups that wish hate on other groups in this world.
Oh yeah,
draw the line at kids. You go after kids. I'm sorry,
when you can unify certain mongrels in other regards against you.
You are a new piece of shit in my dictionary.
So my point was, this person, you said it. You said it earlier. This is their city, so somewhere along the way, and this person's not responsible. But hopefully, they'll come forward, or they'll say something later to say, you know what, he said this, or he. No. I know the shooter's dead. I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying somebody in the community could have started. You were talking about like the signs are there. These people are not hiding, and so. It takes this different kind of courage to raise your hand or say, I think something's wrong over here, because there's a stigma with also false accusations, unfortunately, which is a thing as well. So, saying like, I heard so-and-so say this and it made me nervous. FBI comes knocking. That all seems conceptually scary to people. But let me ask you this. When the local cops come knocking for a different reason, and I don't want us to turn into a society. Listen, I'm a 1984 kind of like, let's not get there. God, man, let's not go that direction. I'm a free-wielding son of hippies who also believes that the only reason we're here successfully is because we have had a quasi-stable system of government. Not perfect, quasi-stable. You look at the history of democracies. Those are both in political science. I'm not saying I'm an expert in subtle flex there. Yes, I'm one of those people. Somebody in the tweet's going to be like, oh, you're one of those guys. You have your degrees on your wall. You're damn right I do. I'm proud.
You paid for it. You earned it. You hang it on a fucking wall.
I'll be the first one to say it. My dad paid for one. I paid for the other. I'm not ashamed of it either.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Throughout history, we've been the most stable because we do have this government that says, okay, you do you, but don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's just not nice. We all agree on that, right? So that balance has to live, and I don't want it to turn into a police state or people afraid of their neighbors and start. I think it's much more about starting to. This is going to sound so cheesy, but cliches exist for a reason. Starting to focus on the things that unite us more than the things that divide us, such as sports. And I will say this: I'm first time I've been on a pedestal in a long time. I'm not a short guy. I don't need them. I'm a very confident man. I stand tall and with my chest out. But I'm gonna get on a pedestal for a second and encourage everybody in the sports industry to start thinking in terms of what sports are supposed to be for. And I'm not going to tell corporations or industries whether or not they should paint courts or say slogans or do this. Maybe the lesson we've learned is, hey, companies and corporations, you shut your effing mouths, but let your players speak. Let your individuals speak, because individuals can speak for themselves. Not everything that a player does for an on his own represents the organization, vice versa. But maybe if some of these teams start coming out and saying, you know what, fuck it, wherever you want on your shorts, whatever you want there, Now, that being said, we're going to ask you to stand for the anthem and do this. Make some compromises back and forth. Cut these players loose. Let them express themselves. And that way, you can still cheer for your team. I can love the blank without subscribing to that person's politics because it's been made clear from the team that we're going to let all of our players speak for themselves. And also that goes to these coaches and these leaders in the locker room and by the way, if you talk to players and athletes, sorry, shouts Piper. If you talk to players and athletes, they'll tell you that shit doesn't creep into the locker room.
It doesn't.
It might exist in group chats or meeting rooms in the morning, but when it's
they're living
time,
they're to an extent they're living in a different world than the rest of us. You know
they
what
are.
I mean? And what it comes down,
and not a bad way, just a different way, like you're saying.
But there should be no circumstance where someone is scared to root for a team that they are passionate about because they are worried because one player said one thing about something they didn't agree about. That is not what sports was created for. Sports were created to release energy, to bring people together. I mean, you look back at when, we could say sports probably started back with the Athens, the Greeks, the medieval times, whatever. It was created to bring people together. That's sports.
Celebration, escape, like you said, getting the energy out. Now, has it come a long way from, I'm sorry, dude, Gladiator was one of the last great, box office kind of manufactured Hollywood movies until we started going rogue. And I'm not going to say, but that's what it was. It was, we've come a long way from that. I mean, God, there's sports out there where they used human heads for the ball. But the circles back to the top real quick. I want to not tidy this up. You talk about it as much as you want. We can go all day. But the point being is,
I'll close use these. You have the floor, sir.
It's just careful what you wish for. Use these moments, to reflect, to get your house in order, to feel good and comfortable with who you are and where you are in that stuff, to ensure that you're treating others with curiosity, empathy, and respect, until they give you a reason not to, like the piece of shit who's now waiting somewhere in Dante's seventh ring of hell, hopefully upside down. And not the good part of hell where the Kennedys are and partying. I'm joking. That's an old joke. I'm joking.
No, but in all seriousness, I hope this guy got 50 bullet holes in him from the police.
I saw that tweet. Well, I saw that tweet and I thought about it. And I kind of, in some sick, twisted, sadistic, quasi Hunter S. Thompson kind of way, I want to find out if it was 49 or 50. Just to see if it really would piss you off.
Just to prove me wrong? Is that what you're out to do? Just to prove me wrong?
If anybody out there wants to file a Freedom of Information Act on behalf of the Divots and Pivots show to find out, I don't even know if it would take a FOIA. You might be able just to call the coroner and say, hey, how many bullets were in this guy?
I'm sure there'd be plenty of people who are involved who would be willing to give that information. Guaranteed.
And only here on Belly Up Media will you get us a nice pivot from how many bullets were in his body to this week. We got the Colonial coming to you, and we will call it the Colonial. I'm sure the Charles Schwab
because
Challenge.
That's what me and you keep calling it, and I'm fine with it, honestly. But before we do that, to take away from the anger of the start of the show, because I came out fired with anger in the show, and that's not
you did. You want to, for those of you joining us in progress, the show.
I came out firing with spit and fire, anger, and I'm a positive person and I'm a happy person. And I don't like drama. So to end out this segment, and we're gonna move on with sports in a healing fashion of life. I pray that God is with the families of those children. I pray that God is with those children and those teachers who lost their lives today. I can't imagine as a father of a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old what this would be like to deal with. I cannot imagine. So I send them all my thoughts and prayers and love and look, you have America's back, and that's the bottom line. And no matter what one individual does to your town, to your community, to your society, to your family, it doesn't change what you built in your home, with your love, with your family. Keep that with you at all times, and you will strive, you will get through this, and you will be okay in the end, no matter how tragic this was.
And right at the quarter hour mark, we are making our first pivot away from that. Was actually, thank you for closing that out. That was good.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm one of those people.
I saw you trying to turn away. I saw you trying to turn away.
Well, you start talking about the things you built, and I'm in my own little man cave down here. And like I told you the story about the flags, and like I got my degrees up here. This is my slice of pride, and then I've got like my baby monitor and stuff. So no, that was good stuff. So real quick, we do need to talk about. I mean, it's a golf show for crying out loud.
It's a golf show, so we got to get back to golf, yes.
But that deserved the attention.
Any show, sport, any topic, that deserves attention. It deserves attention.
I'll be listening. I'll be listening to see. There's by the way, and this is kind of how we can move back into the sports world, because I will be paying attention closely over the next 24 hours, not in a judgmental way, in like a curious way. People I look up to, sportscasters and writers out there, and just to see how they not how they react. But yeah, how they react, not in a judgmental way, just to kind of see. Because like I said, everybody processes things differently. I mean, shit, Brett Favre's dad dies, and everybody goes, how can he play? And it's like, dude.
Yeah, and he has one of his greatest career games ever.
And afterwards, it's like, because my dad would have been pissed at me for not playing. Kind of one of those things.
And you know what's interesting entering the golf world, because, look, this tragedy happened in Texas this week, and we are in Texas this week at one of the most storied Texas golf courses.
Oh, God, I didn't even put that together.
Whew. And you know what? I guarantee you we're going to see some amazing tributes from these golfers. Look, there's one thing you can count on from golf is you can count on a heart from golfers. You can count on a representation for a community from golfers. And I guarantee you we see a ton of that this week. Tune into the TV coverage. You're going to see some tributes. You're going to see some amazing moments of humanity. I pray and beg you to turn into this tournament this week. It's going to be something special.
First of all, we've talked about this before. There is no sport on earth that's more philanthropic than golf, and that's just on an average day.
Yes.
I agree with you. I think we're going to see something special this week as far as tributes and kind of and shout outs. And God, I wish we didn't have to, because it's a shame we have to pivot. It's a shame we have to pivot away from the PGA for anything, and let alone this, because that Sunday, it deserves it. Listen, it deserves the 15 minutes that this asshole took from us and from our audience. So don't blame us, blame the asshole. But no, the PGA was wonderful. I will say this. I wanted to bring it back up because yours truly was banging the JT and Willie Z drum pretty hard. And there was your playoff. And you did point out what I love about my co-host, real quick, I'm going to let y'all in a little pre-show chat. I'm sitting over here, I'm peacocking. I'm like, that's right, baby. Did you see who had JT and Willie Z? He's like, yeah, a lot of people did, dude. I'm like, listen, I'm still living in my other league, which we're going to get to in a minute. I'm still living in my other league.
Which you're crushing it in. All credits to you.
That it's a slow transition. People out there probably be like, I thought, weren't you on tiers and now you're supposed to be on classic? And it's like, yes. And I'm still looking at it. I just,
many talents.
Well, you got to, you got to be doing, you got to diversify that portfolio, son. But I did have a pretty decent week over in the other league, and my boy Justin, who runs that league, and I think I've talked about it before. It's pretty fun. There's 28, 29 of us or something like that. He gave the Divots and Pivots crowd a little shout out. He was like, wow, because this is my third place finish. I didn't win because somebody else out there had JT, Willie Z, and then somebody else. And
they're the 2 or 3 top guys. Yeah, I saw the
yeah, but he did give me a big picture 30,000 foot view shout out that says maybe we should all start listening, and that's good advice, kids. Everybody should listen to the Divots and Pivots podcast. I shouldn't have said kids though, because there's that little E next to our podcast because we say fuck sometimes. But it's not gratuitous. This isn't like Eddie Murphy.
I think I've already crossed the line where now when we post it to YouTube, I have to select explicit content because I said a lot of fucks in the first 10 minutes of the show. I went a little hard on the explicits.
No, that's acceptable. But yeah, Sunday was a treat, and we're gonna see another treat this week, another Perry Maxwell layout. But Southern Hills freaking delivered, man. Mito, oh my,
he's hot right now. He's burning. He's moving right now. And you brought up Perry Maxwell. The word is from the PGA Tour that this is going to become a regular as far as like. So, everyone knows we start the season with the West Coast swing, and then we move over to the early spring, Florida swing. And before all of that, we got the Hawaiian swing. There's swings in golf where there's groups of tournaments on similar courses and similar areas early on in the season because it makes sense weather-wise. They are now saying that this is going to become a regular of the Perry. I'm sorry,
the Perry Maxwell on the Plains kind of
Perry Maxwell
tour.
swing. This is now going to be the Perry Maxwell swing in Texas. And if you are having a hard time hearing me, I apologize. I forgot my power cord from my microphone this week, and I am traveling for work. So I do apologize for that. But I'm sure my fantastic co-host Bud here has plenty of words to cover up for my from my lack of clarity.
Well, it's not even just the words that I've got. We've got More Than Words. More Than Words is a great song, and now I'm blanking on who sings it.
I'm gonna look that up right now because you know what, that sounds familiar to me as well.
More Than Words. But anyways, no, we are back in Texas.
Extreme sang that song.
Thank you. But we're talking about your aforementioned Perry Maxwell swinger back in Texas, another Perry Maxwell track. Hogan's Alley, the Colonial, the Charles Schwab Challenge Cup brought to you by blah, 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 blah. But the Colonial, is a Charles Schwab. The Colonial is one of those tournaments where it's a classic trophy. It's another red jacket, although this one's like a red plaid. But it's another classic tournament that I think the modern golfer, the Johnny, Jimmy, Jamie, Timmy, Tommy, Tammy come lately, doesn't fully understand why the
nicknames.
Right. Well, it's Samsonite. I was way off, but they might not understand why the players take this so seriously. I mean, this is like you said, Perry Maxwell. We're so enthralled with Pete Dye in the modern game, mostly because shouts to Pete Dye, just got back from there. But also, names like Tillinghouse, Donald Ross. Perry Maxwell is one of those names, but I mean, a lot of his work is out in the Midwest, which, we live in a coastal world sometimes to a fault. And so I think that the players are this kind of Perry Maxwell. Did you like that? Did I just hit puberty?
That was
right
I wasn't
there.
Going to bring it up, but
I think live. I think live. Finally, I'm turning 40 later this year, and I just hit puberty. One second.
And you said
but this Perry Maxwell swing.
Are you sure?
Yeah. This Perry Maxwell swing is going to bring a little more life back into Colonial like it deserves. The funny thing about the tour is now they've set this schedule where almost everything is turning into, oh man, that used to be a big deal. We still have our random tournaments that I don't know ever had kind of prestige, but things like Harbor Town, the Colonial, things that are now getting sandwiched in these spots where it's like, dang, that used to be kind of a big deal. The Byron Nelson, which is still a big deal.
They've kind of taken the tier 2 tournaments and the tier 3 tournaments and just blended them together, when in reality, those tier 2 tournaments were considered like 5th and 6th majors. Like they were on, it's like that tier 2 to tier 3 range of tournaments used to be a massive difference. And now they've just kind of blended it.
Yeah.
So I get your point completely, because the Colonial,
we're back in a Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the Colonial has been around for so long. It's historic. It's the Colonial. I mean, come on.
I think Ben Hogan and somebody else are the only people to ever repeat that kind of deal. Sorry, I just derped out logging back into Fantasy National because I got kicked out for no reason. I think something happened to my internet.
Why are you going back into Fantasy National when I got my custom sheet for us to work off of this week?
I actually really should just pull up the sheet. Why don't you walk us through the sheet before we walk this show off a cliff?
It's a fantastic segue, but before we do that, I do want to shout out. Look, we're doing a giveaway
all right,
next week.
Pause. Flag on the play. Whoa! This is
flag
important.
on the play. Whoa!
This is important.
We're going to do the NLFA right now.
By the way, how did the final go? Was it a nail biter? Was it a barn burner?
Oh god, it was a blowout. It was 32-0 was the final score, and the refs got way too involved.
Ooh.
There were
scandal in the Bayou.
There was a sportsman conduct call. There was a targeting call. We're talking semi-pro. It was a little rough to watch. I'm not going to lie, but the Lumberjacks did come out on top. It was a pleasure to watch them all season. Get to that point, so it was still quality football. I just wish the refs didn't insert themselves so much.
All right, we're gonna do live on the air. We're gonna do battlefield surgery on your audio. Whatever you did pre-show and you walked through a couple of options, do that again because we're back to where we were.
All right.
And if I'm real quick, and thank you viewers for hanging. Thank you listeners.
one
and
better?
viewers. So much better. Did you not hear all the viewers? The chat room just blew up. Everybody loves it. The reviews are in.
My
the audio
God,
is fantastic.
I'm so loved in my life. I feel it.
now it's beautiful. All right, now on with your announcement.
Yes. So, look, we got a giveaway for you this week. You go onto Twitter right now. You follow at Divots and Pivots on Twitter between now and 5 p.m. on Friday. For the people who follow in that time span on next Wednesday's show, we are going to do a live giveaway. We're going to give you 2 packs of Canadips CBD pouches. Dip pouches. If you like dipping tobacco, but you like the CBD as well, this is the nice medium ground. We're going to give you some fantastic flavors. This one can is going to be pina colada, which is one of their most popular brands or flavors, I should say, that sells out pretty quick. And the other one's going to be a mint and citrus mix. So get on there. Follow Divots and Pivots on Twitter at Divots and Pivots. And on Tuesday, I'm sorry, not on Tuesday. On Wednesday morning on 10 a.m. on Tiki Live, on Roku TV, on Apple TV, on all of our podcasts, we are going to pick the winner live to receive that package of Canna Dips. So if you're into Canna Dips, if you're into weed, if you're into CBD, tobacco, chewing, whatever, it encompasses so many different people who like this stuff. You know,
are you a pothead fucker? No, actually, what I was going to say is I used to dip hardcore. I mean, listen, my name is Bud, and I grew up in Tallahassee, Florida. So yeah,
you sound like a dipper.
And I quit. I mean, I quit probably 10 years ago out of nowhere. Just so I used to do it a lot on road trips up to Maine, back and forth in Florida, and I just quit one day. I was like, oh, it's kind of gross. That said, I have an oral fixation bad. Of course you do. And so, like, I'm always chewing on my lip, or that's why I always have a drink.
That's our next T-shirt.
It is. These guys, these CBD pouches, golf course. That's where actually I have a thing of them in my golf bag because I'm getting old, and the CBD for the pain is wonderful and better than the ibuprofen for my liver. So that's what I was getting to is I don't even dip anymore. I don't even like it. You were talking about that. I was like, I just and during a golf round.
These are nice, simple pouches. They're easy to do. Yep. They're tobacco-free. It's straight CBD and flavor. It's perfect. It's perfect to go.
Like
so go
sucking on a snow cone.
So go and check out.
Sucking on a snow cone.
You just threw me off with that comment. I'm not gonna lie. Go and check out Canadips.com. Use the discount code BELLYUP20. You'll get 20% off. I'm sorry. You'll get 20% off your order. And like I said, if you go on and follow at Divots and Pivots on Twitter, you'll be entered into the giveaway to receive 2 free cans. Once again, of pina colada and then of mint and citrus. So that's a hot take right there for you. Get in on it. Follow us on Divots and Pivots. We got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. Speaking of exciting stuff, it seems like we might as well just roll with the announcements right now before we get into the DFS.
Oh, God. It's the lid is off. Just let it roll.
If you haven't realized here on the show, if you're a regular listener, Mr. Bud Copeland is a transplant to Massachusetts. I myself am a native to Massachusetts, and this year the U.S. Open is in Brookline, Massachusetts. We were unfortunate to not get credentials to go to the U.S. Open, but as always on this show, we are pivoting. We are going to bring you a live event at the Clubhouse in Middleton, Massachusetts. You can come out and meet us. We're going to do a live either hour and a half, 2-hour show. We haven't fully decided, but we're going to be playing some golf live on the simulators. They got cornhole. They got shuffleboard. It's full bar, full restaurant. There's going to be a massive projector screen showing the U.S. Open. If you just want to come watch some golf with us for a couple hours on June 18th, that's the Saturday of the U.S. Open. If you want to celebrate Father's Day early without feeling guilty about leaving your kids behind, come out and join us at the Clubhouse in Middleton. We will be there live doing a live show, and there's going to be some giveaways.
Hey now,
not just Canadips. There's going to be some giveaways from Piper Golf, from In the Clutch Apparel, as Bud's got the hat on, the Pipet hat from Piper Golf, and possibly from Pins and Aces as well. So we're going to have some fire stuff for you. There's going to be some friends of the show coming on, roasting us live as we play in a simulator. So if you enjoy and you are looking for your opportunity to make fun of us play golf and you want us to prove it to you that we know what the hell we're talking about, show up in Middleton, Mass. if you're local, or just tune into the live show on June 18th. We'll be going live around 4:30, so check us out June 18th for our live U.S. Open show. It's going to be a ton of fun.
I was about to say, this is awesome. We're your New England hooligans for golf. How about that?
You know what?
Yes, I am.
Proud.
I'm what I call born again New England. I married a Mainer. I first spent my first summer up here in 2002, and I never went back because I found out there's a place where you can wear a sweatshirt in the summertime, and that made me excited. But it's the simple things in life. So speaking of, that's the U.S. Open. That's gonna be in a couple weeks. And actually, before we get to the Colonial and start going through our tiers, I was out at Logan Airport last Friday. In my future former 9 to 5, I was out there meeting about there's a certain lot that they normally give to summer camps where they can park their buses and their vans while they're waiting to pick up campers. That way you don't have to try to play the rat race of picking them up at the curb.
It's a pain. Well, if you ever come to Boston, Logan fits right in with the city's street patterns. It's nightmare.
Awful. They're doing some good. They're actually, so by the way, I got like a VIP tour from the operations director of all the logistical changes.
Wait,
and it was
did you see the new terminal? Did you get a tour of the new terminal?
Yeah.
So whose terminal is that going to? Now I'm just curious. Who's what airline?
Wait, are you talking about Terminal B?
So the new one that they're building, the UFO looking one that's red right now.
No, I did not get to. No, I did not get to go up there. This was straight ground operations and transportation. But the reason that he had to show me around and we had to find a new lot for the summer camps is because we were talking about like the 200 courtesy vehicles that are coming in for all the players for the U.S. Open. That's where they're going to be stored. That's where they're going to pick them up. Weekend. And so same weekend and but actually, fun fact, the players. If you're flying into an FPO, you're not flying into Logan. If you're not flying commercial, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. There's actually there's I want to say it's a Hanscom Air Force Base is where those folks are coming.
So Hanscom is probably the closest one that the private planes are going to come into.
Yeah, no, that's what he said. That's where they're going to come in and out of.
Yeah, that makes the most sense. Fun fact, that's where the golf league I used to be a part of was at Hanscom Air Force Base, so I used to be hitting shots and seeing those private planes fly in, so that was a fun time. But yeah, so the big names will be flying into there for sure. That makes a lot of sense.
I have dust piling up on my DFS picks over here.
Oh geez, yeah. We're at the halfway point here of the show. Let's get into some DF picks because DFS picks. I am sorry for leaving the S out there.
The S is silent.
It is what it is tonight.
It is what it. That's true. That is true. No, real quick. Why don't you already talked about what your model is before. What are some of the factors in your model this week? I'll go real quick. We'll try to hammer through this, and mine's really kind of cliche and simple, but another Perry Maxwell, just like last week. Approaches and putting, and we saw that. We saw that at Southern Hills. That's Texas golf for you. Definitely got to get to the fairway. But even if you're not in the fairway, get it on the green and get it in as quick as possible. So approaches and fairways for Boudreaux. What's in your model? What's in the magic sauce this week?
So here's the thing. I can look in the mirror and I can admit when I have had a slow patch. And over the last few weeks since the Masters, when I had a very successful Masters, I've been pretty ice cold with my picks. So what I've done for all of you who are listening right now is I've gone in and I have adjusted the way I do my model. I've gone back to the way that we did it pre-Masters where we had success, and we're going back to that now. So this week in my model, we are looking at strokes gains approach, like you said. We're looking at good drives gained. We're looking at par fours between 350 and 450 and approach shots between 125 and 150. And then, of course, like you said, strokes gained putting, because that's what Perry Maxwell brings to us in Texas. You got to be able to finish your hole off and score some points. So fun fact is that this, I believe I read that this tournament at this course has only ever finished better than minus 15, I think, once in the last 10 years, something like that. I might have the number of years wrong, but basically what we're looking at is we're probably looking at a final score for the winner here somewhere around that 9 under to 13 under range. So we're going to want some birdie makers. You're going to need to make those putts. You're going to need to put yourself in position. So for all those reasons, I'm picking all the stats that keep us out of the rough, that keep us out of the traps, that keep us out of trouble in general, because we need to play smart golf this week.
Are you better at picking the stats or actually staying out of the rough and the traps? I'm sorry, that's a low blow. That's a low blow.
I am better at picking than playing for sure. So, and I know exactly what he's trying to lead me into right here. So I did play a round of 18 on Friday with my father.
30 seconds for you, 30 seconds for me because I want to brag.
Let's go for it because I don't want to brag because I had one of my worst rounds of golf in my golf playing, quote unquote career ever.
You got to have
this past Friday. I think I shot. What was my final score? I think my final score was 113. I think I texted you, and it was with like 41 putts or something like that. Like it was pretty brutal. I only hit 2 fairways.
41 putts, dude.
I could not get off the tee for the life of me. I was, you know what it was? It was all the basic stuff you learn as a kid when you start playing golf. I was picking up my head. I was slicing the ball. It was all the basics went out the window for me, and it was brutal to play. It was brutal to watch, but in the spirit of golf, I had a fantastic day on a fantastic weather day with my father. And it was,
I was going to say, weren't you with your old man?
What I was. And what more can you ask for? You have a day out on the course with your father on a beautiful day. It doesn't matter what you shoot at that point. It's fucking golf, people. Let's get out there and enjoy it. That's what golf was created for.
So I did not play with my old man. I was playing in a league, so it was competitive. So it did matter what I shot, and your boy delivered. No, personally, I shot 73. I was happy with it. I lowered my putts from 41, I'm not making fun of you. That was my
no, I know. Believe me, 41 putts is pretty standard for me.
There's people in the Indianapolis airport who know that I had 41 putts at that Mass Open qualifier. So, anyways. Went out to my local track with the boys, and actually me and my partner took home the best ball gross. We shot a 69 gross best ball, took home first there, and then I had four more birdies on the day, and one of them landed in the birdie pool for skins. So I am now plus 160 on the year.
And like you said earlier,
I'm happy with how it's going.
You've been crushing a lot of different areas of golf. Because like you said earlier in the show, you've been crushing your other league, as you like to say.
It is. I'm not there yet with my confidence. I know, shocker. Bud lacks somewhere in confidence. I'm not there to get in bed in the DraftKings world yet. I still like living on the periphery and then sucking off of all this information to make my picks for my other league. So but I will be in there.
What he's trying to say is he likes to use me to make money. That's what he's trying to say.
Yes. Isn't that what we're here for? All right, so let's get after it. 10K and above. This is another week. This is another week where we see some Texans up there for obvious reasons. You pointed it out earlier. Colonial Classic track. All these kids grew up wanting to play it or probably playing it in junior tournaments, high school tournaments, amateur tournaments. And we've got a familiar name. Scotty Scheffler sitting at the top at 11-2, coming off of a missed cut.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts in this 10K and above range? I mean, I can tell you right now, for me personally, there is one name that I'm willing to push my chips in on this, and it does not rhyme with Fleffler.
You know what? And I'm going to go ahead and take a guess right now because I'm pretty sure if I know you right, you're going to go with Mr. Colin Morikawa here. Close. Am I correct?
Close. I would say I'm going with the not wannabe, but the soon-to-be Colin Morikawa or Victor Hovland. That'd be my 10K and above guy if you could. If people forget that he's an Oklahoma State kid. He won the U.S. Amateur. He's won a couple times on the DP World Tour. He hasn't played well, in the last recently. He hasn't flashed very much here in the States. But this is one of those weeks where he did not perform well last week. He is good enough to switch it back on and go, wait a minute, I am this guy. I know Colonial. I know this area. I like him at this price point and his performance. Probably going to be chalky. Everybody at 10K and above is going to be chalky. But
he's the second chalkiest person projected
right?
This week at 16.8%.
But for reasons I just stated, and sometimes you got to eat some chalk. If I had to, and I think I might have to this week, because I like a low 10K guy and I like a 9K guy, because when we get to the 7K range, there's a name that I'm going to bring back that you're going to like. All right, so 10K and above.
Here's why I am not playing Victor Hovland in the 10K.
That's what I want to know.
Because his putting has been brutal, not only this year but on comparable courses. He's not putting. He's just not playing well right now when it comes to putting. He's not finishing these holes off well. Sure, is he still a great ball striker? He's still a great approacher? Yes. But is it for at that price for 10K and above, to take the chance that maybe he puts it together this week where he finds the putting stick and puts some balls in the hole, it's a massive risk and it could pay off. But between his price and between his ownership at over 16%, no thank you. There's no benefit for that risk in my opinion.
I appreciate, by the way, I appreciate that you acknowledge that, yes, it could just snap this week. I get that.
He's the type of player where it could, 100%.
He's that, exactly. So is there anybody up there that you do like in the 10K and above range?
There is, and I'm going to go back to one of my favorite players of all time, but I'm going to go back to Jordan Spieth, who's just playing good right now. Winning the RBC, second at the AT&T. He did fall off a little bit this past week at the PGA compared to how he started, finishing in 34th. But this is the type of course. He has so much history at this course. Horse for course, Jordan Spieth is that guy for me. And when you're talking about comparing the price tags, so let's compare him to a Morikawa who's $300 more, and a Victor Hovland who's $400 less. What I see there is I see Jordan Spieth gaining 27 strokes gained total in his past 4 tournaments, and that includes a missed cut back at the Masters when he did not make the cut. His past 3 tournaments, and then including the Masters with the missed cut, he's still gaining 27 shots. He's on fire right now, and he's at a place he's comfortable with at the Colonial in Texas. Jordan Spieth is my guy there, especially when you're going to get him at for what I believe is a discount in ownership. So not a big – he's actually – I'm sorry, I am way off. He's the most owned person. But if I'm going to pay up, I'd rather pay 19% for Spieth at ownership than pay 16% for what's his name, Hovland, who's not playing right now.
I will cede you that $400 value is exactly the value in the difference in current form. I think it's appropriate because, like you just said,
I think it's very fair.
If the putter comes, then Hovland's up there. If he's another ho-hum in Spieth's humming, I like that. I noticed that neither one of us. First of all, I think there's always the major hangover for JT. You just want a major.
Correct,
He's on scholarship this week.
Morikawa at $11,000 is just too much to consider.
That's way too much.
Factor. Yeah. It's too much. Yeah.
Morikawa is not playing great, and I got to see him do something first.
Yep.
And with Will Zalatoris, that's the thing though that this is the dumb shit that can happen, right? Will turns around and gets his first win this week. And I like how he bounced back. Yeah, but I'm sticking to my guns mostly because I'm a Victor guy. Victor. So cool. Tight. See you next week. 9K and above. I want you to go first because I kind of tickled where I was going. You take the talking stick at 9K.
So here at 9K, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to an often forgotten Texas native, an Abraham Answer, coming in at 8.4 strokes gained total. He finished 9th at the PGA last week. He's made the cut in his last 3 straight tournaments. And then when you're talking about tournament history here, he's got the past 2 years he's finished top 20. I'm going to take that. He's obviously comfortable with this course. He's a good driver. He's good with the approach, and he's a good putter as well. So I'm going to take Abraham Answer this week, who has been a bit of a disappointment for people so far when they have played him because he hasn't showed up in courses he has played. Looks like we're going to be able to get him at around 13% ownership, maybe a little bit more depending on the tournament that you're in. But Abraham Answer at 9, I think he's 9,300, I believe he is. 9,300. Yep. I'm willing to pay that price right there for Abraham Answer.
Okay. I like it. I dig it. I can get behind it. I don't mind that at all. I kind of feel like eating some chalk this week, obviously with Victor, and that means I'm going to eat a chalk burger with Mr. Daniel and take him because I'm going to run the analytics this week and trust it. And in our mixed conditions model and what you've got going, I mean, he's number 1 in our rank. Strokes gained approach 6. Good drives gained, like we were talking about earlier, getting the ball in play, not just in play, but in position in play. And he's 8th there. Strokes gained putting 15th. Daniel Berger you remember, I think he won. What did he win? Not Colonial last year. Maybe it was Memorial. He won Memorial maybe last year. Anyways, he strikes me as that guy that.
He won the Colonial in 2020.
Thank you, because I've
Yeah,
seen him put on this jacket before.
Yes.
And so I was getting the red sweaters and jackets mixed up. But anyways, Daniel Berger, give him to me all day for that reason. Former winner. I think he's the tier of player. He's almost like a Steve Stricker type where I don't know if he's ever actually going to win a major. He might not. I mean, he might just win.
I think I've reached the point where I don't think he will. I honestly don't think he does.
He might win 18, 20 tournaments and do way more with his golf career than I ever will. Not true. I've got a Mass Am qualifier coming up June 1st. I'll keep you all posted. It's at Ipswich Country Club. But Daniel Berger, feed me some Berger. I'm fading everybody else in the 9K for totally immature reasons. Sam Burns, just because Johnny
Sam Burns is going to be he's going to be too chalky this week for his price tag. That's 100% at 10%.
I hope my friends are tuning in right now to be like, this is the shit. This is why we should tune in. Like, this is why he's winning. Yes, this is why I'm winning, because I'm listening to this guy that I'm talking to and looking at really smart things. I don't actually know. I'm the home life guy. That's what I'm saying. Daniel Berger, the spotlight. This is his spotlight. This is his. He's a solid opener for a huge headliner, but he's not the first opener. He's like the third opener before the big headliner. That's Daniel Berger, and I'm here for that this week.
So I want to quickly
anything more on the 9K.
Yeah, so I want to quickly hit on someone that I'm going to personally be fading in the 9K range that I think is going to be popular. Looks like right now he's projected at around 13-14% ownership.
Let's spread the hate. Who is it?
Let's spread the hate. I love that. That's not at all what I do, but a personal favorite golfer of mine, and Max Homa, I think at 9,400. So I love him too, but at $9,400 and 13% ownership or higher. Look, he's had great form recently. He finished 13th last week. He won the Wells Fargo a couple weeks ago, so he's in great form. But when it comes to this course, he missed the cut in 2020. Didn't play last year. Finished 27th in 2019. And look, when it comes to the par fours that are going to be key on this course and the putting, he just doesn't have it. He's in the bottom half of the field when it comes to par fours for the proximity we're looking at, and both putting on the season as total and on correlating courses. Max Homa is just not snapping for me. So that at that price point and at that ownership, I am off of Max Homa this week.
Can I please add a little to your Max Homa soliloquy there?
Go for it.
A personal fan favorite now. He's a leader in the clubhouse for the PIP this year. He's taken it. I think he's taken it in the direction it was meant to take. Listen, I think Phil and Tiger won the first PIP for reasons everybody knows. He moves the needle. He is the fucking needle.
Yes.
Phil came in a close second because Phil performed and kind of lived out the stereotype of what we thought the PIP was going to be. Max Homa is putting out some really good content that is engaging. It's true. It's authentic. It's cheeky.
He is the most interactive person on tour right now when it comes to reaching out to the fans. There are people who have reached out to him and said, hey, can I play a round of 18 with you? And he says yes, and he follows up with it. And he plays a round of 18 with them. Look, there's nobody on tour who's doing what Max Homa is doing when it comes to fan interaction. And that's why I love him.
We're the East Coast Max Homa fan club. We're not that's not our only player. Don't remember we are the we're the founding charter club. That's right. We have all sorts of favorite players. But back to Max Homa real quick. I agree with you in the sense that I don't think he's going to win this week, and I think it's for me. You know me, I'm all about strokes gained, home life. He's a California kid. We're in Texas. I'm going to be that. I am going to be that shallow about it. But I will say we're not playing on POA. We're talking about low, fast, and it's not like he can't flight the ball and putt. But again, I'm gonna swallow some chalk this week and assume that Mr. Victor Hovland's going to get it done. But D Berger, for the other reasons I stated. All right, let's keep on going down the line.
Yeah, let's
do me a favor and take the talking stick
here. Yeah, we're slowly running out of time here. So let's hit the 8K range really fast because there's one particular guy I want to talk about here in the 8K range who has the name pedigree, who has shown out in the past, who's been a bit quiet in the last year or two. But the season so far has quietly been putting together a pretty good form run of tournaments here. So over his last 4 tournament appearances, he's got 26 total strokes gained, including a 5th place finish last week at the PGA Championship. And that's Mr. Tommy Fleetwood. He comes in third ranked in the field when it comes to par fours between 400 and 450, and he's a phenomenal putter, especially in correlating courses. And when it comes to his approach game, Mr. Tommy Fleetwood brings it in at 8,800, even at 13% projected ownership. I'm going to be mixing Tommy Fleetwood into my lineups quite a bit this week because I think he's someone that, even at the projected 13% ownership, I actually expect, in most cases, I expect that to go up from the projected ownership. I kind of expect Tommy Fleetwood's projected ownership to be a little bit lower than what it is right now because I feel like a lot of people have forgotten about him over the last few weeks. Forget the last few weeks, over the last year. Tommy Fleetwood was one of those guys that, like 2 years ago, was one of the hottest players in golf that everyone was comparing to it. Like, at the time when Henrik Stenson was going crazy and winning 5 out of 7 tournaments, whatever, he was going nuts. Tommy Fleetwood was going nuts at the same time, and people are
talking about fairway Jesus.
Yeah, people seem to be forgetting about Tommy Fleetwood. He is a bona fide stud professional golfer, and I look for him to have a bounce back week this week.
I'll do my quick hit on the 8K range because I agree with you on Tommy Fleetwood. And what you're getting at is all the reasons that we love him and remember him. And I'm going to take it a step further and say he's hungry for a different reason. People forget he doesn't have his tour card right now. Everything he's playing on is for some sort of exemption, invitation,
Euro tour, whatever. Yeah.
Right. So he's over here in the States. Maybe I don't even know how he qualified for Colonial. Maybe it was a top whatever finish. Maybe it was
It has to be so. Actually, no, because he hasn't played here in the last 3 years. So
that's my point. I'm saying there's something out there got him in it, and I think he is definitely a guy that I like at 8,800 even. Everybody else, I mean, you could get me on the Goocher. I love me some Gooch. I love Webb Simpson as well. I think he matches up he's high on our model, and he's also a lot of greens. Yep. I just laughed when I saw Bryson's name out there, and then Bubba withdrew. Jason Kokrak, don't sleep on a former champ, right? Like
I love me some Jason Kokrak.
And if you need something in the 8K, if you need something in the 8K range that's not as chalky as what we're going after, look for Jason Kokrak because even as a past champion, he's going to be in the single digits. So 8K has got some value in there, but I think it is limited to maybe 2 or 3 players.
Jason Kokrak has 3 top 40s in 3 out of his 4 tournaments. He won this tournament last year. He finished 3rd the year before that. So he's
and the only reason I'd say shy away, right? And the only reason I say shy away is because I mentioned earlier, like nobody's repeated since Hogan and I don't know, maybe Tiger did it. I don't fucking know.
But you don't even. But so right now he's projected less than 10% ownership. At less than 10% ownership, you don't even need him to win. At that projected ownership, at his ceiling of even finishing top 10, which is very realistic for him considering his history here, that's massive value. Like that's a guy that you need on your team. Because what is his price? His price is what, like 8,800, something like that. What's 8,200? Are you kidding me? Like
no, I'm not.
Jason Kokrak, considering his upside right now, is a massive steal in that.
Did I just open your eyes when I just brought Jason Kokrak back to the forefront a little bit?
You did, because you know what? I looked at him when I was doing my research, and I kind of forgot about him because I got excited about other guys. And then when you talked about him, I remembered why.
I had always get excited started about other guys. But again, I think
when it comes to you, you're my number one, my man.
Oh, I love you too, Boo. I love you. But the thing about him is I went back to the whole nobody's going to repeat, but you're right.
Yes.
You don't need him to repeat.
You don't.
You don't.
At that price, look, if he was priced in the 9K range, you need him to repeat. But at 8,200, he doesn't need to repeat. He just needs to finish top 20 at that point.
And so let's go down real quick because I'm chomping at the bit.
Yeah, let's get down to some of our value places. We are running out of time. So hit me with what you got that you're chomping at.
Listen, I love David Lipsky all day, every day. Him and Aaron Rye.
This is like five weeks in a row with David Lipsky.
I'm not picking them this week, but Lipsky and Rye, keep an eye on them. I'm actually going to go further down, and this is straight up from the numbers that you ran, and it's a Brendan Todd kind of week. You heard me up top. You heard me up top talking about Victor Hovland, Daniel Berger, Tommy Fleetwood, taking top, guys from the top of those tiers.
Yep.
And so you got to free up some capital somewhere, and that's where you can go down to the bottom of the 7K range and find Brendan Todd, who is a very consistent. You named it at the beginning of the podcast. Keep the ball in play, and that's what he does. He's not long. He's not outstanding at anything. He's just really effing good at getting it from the tee into the cup and not making mistakes. And so if he makes a handful of birdies and makes the cut, that's all you need. At 7K, all you need Brendan Todd to do is make the weekend and break even.
Which is very realistic considering he finished 8th here last year. I know he's not in the greatest form right now when you look at his recent tournaments, but this is one of those situations where because of Todd's style of play, this is one of those courses where I think I put a lot of his recent form aside and say this is the course that he comes back to and feels comfortable with and returns to his true form of golf that has made him a professional. And
the Colonial is a confidence builder for him.
Yeah, and a 7K for Brendan Todd, that could be a massive hit, a massive gain for you. Someone that I specifically want to hit on in the 7K range, because I know we're running out of time right now, but someone that I think a lot of people aren't going to play, and is a name that a lot of people know if you watch golf. I'm going to give you.
Did you say? Hold on, real quick. Your audio cut out. Are not?
Are not going to play. He's projected.
All right, so who are a lot of people not going to play that they should?
So projected less than 6% ownership right now, but a very popular name if you know golf over the last 20 years. I'm going to give you a chance to guess before I say it.
Stewart Cink.
Yes, Stewart fucking Cink.
Well,
Stewart
he was. I mean, look where he was last week, finishing.
Every now and then, Stewart Cink shows up to one of these tournaments, and he doesn't win it. He doesn't ball out, so to speak. But he shows up, he makes the cut, and he finishes top 20. And he's always
going to be a T20 guy for the next 20 years.
Exactly. He's always going to be priced less than $7,500. And this week, price is $7,100, and at an ownership projected less than 6% right now. And look, he's in great recent form. He finished 23rd last week. He finished 9th at the Wells Fargo. He's playing good golf right now, and this is the type of course that fits his style of golf, which is why I like Stewart Cink as my main value play at $7,100 this week.
I'll endorse Stewart Cink, or as Tiger calls him, Kitchen. I'll endorse that at $7,100, and for the reasons you just said. He is I'm not going to say when he was in his prime, but his pinnacle time, the Colonial was the freaking Colonial. And so he's one of those players that
he remembers it for what it was, which means he's going to show up playing it like it was.
I had to do a double take, and actually, how about this? Looking at the clock, I'm going to do my double take recap and then pass the talking stick to you and walk away. First and foremost, as always, shouts and thank you to In the Clutch, Belly Up Media for allowing me to come on your airwaves. And don't forget to pipe it while you're out there. First, seriously, thank you all to Piper. Piper Gold treated me well. 73, 4 birdies. It gets it done.
Piper.golf. Don't get that wrong. Piper.golf. Go on and
Piper.golf, div, PIV, D-I-V-P-I-V,
yes.
D-I-V-P-I-V, promo code.
Super
Stewart Cink, the Kitchen. When I saw him putting out when JT was doing his thing, I was like, what the? Sunday at 5:45 on a major, and there's Stewart Cink finishing his round.
And that's what I mean. Every now and then, Stewart Cink just says, I'm going to fucking show up and remind people I'm here.
So, and speaking of where we're going to be, another reminder that, if you're not doing anything, third round of the U.S. Open, meet us up at the clubhouse at Middleton. Tell them that Divots and Pivots and Bud and Andrew sent you. And back to you in the studio, man. Have fun this weekend. Good luck with the Colonial. And as always, be safe out there.
Yeah, and little teaser, maybe in the near future there will be some back to you in the studio merchandise that you can you can purchase if you have enjoyed Bud's commentary trying to shut himself up, which has become a regular on the show, by saying back to you in the studio. Check it out. In the Clutch apparel, Piper Golf. Like I said, Piper.golf is the website you want to go to. You take their golf ball quiz. You find out exactly which golf ball they have. Fits your game right. They have apparel as well. Pins and Aces has some fantastic accessories for your golf bag, including their beer sleeve, which holds 7 beers that fits right into your golf bag. Sells out very quickly, so get on there, Pins and Aces. Find their beer sleeve and order that. But as always, like I said, June 18th, come meet us in Middleton, Massachusetts, if you are local, at the Clubhouse. We would love to meet you guys and have a good time with you guys. This is the Charles Schwab Classic this week, a.k.a. the Colonial. Let's fucking get it right. And we're in for a nice little major hangover here. We love you guys. Thank you for listening.